Hello guys, hope you all are doing good and welcome to this YouTube channel. And in this particular video we are going to talk about how do we implement tab level security in TIBCO Spotfire, right? So those who do not know what is tab level security, in simple word, basically suppose if you have a dashboard which will have multiple pages, right? So it might be possible that you would like to restrict some user from looking at some of the pages, right? Or maybe you would like to have some set of pages visible to one set of user and the other set of pages visible to other set of user, right? So at a high level, this is what the page level security is. You will restrict the number of pages visible to a given logged in user in a given dashboard. In TIBCO Spotfire, we don't have out of box functionality to implement the same. So what we do is we'll use the Ironpython scripting and write a small code to implement the same. Let's look at the steps that we are going to follow to implement the same, right? So let's look at the steps at high level and then we'll go into the details. First of all, you need to get the current user. So basically the user that has logged in into the report. Second, we'll write an Ironpython script to check the username and hide or delete the page. Basically, we'll write an Ironpython script which will check the current logged in user, and then depending upon the user or maybe the rule that you have defined in the code, it will show or hide the page. And then we'll use a data function basically that will be required to run the Ironpython script automatically on the report load, or you can say on the page load, something like that. Okay, so these are the three steps that we need to follow at high level. Now let's first jump into how we have done it. So basically what I will do is I will first take you through whatever is built and walk you through at a very high pace. So if you are familiar with Spotfire, you can just follow only this much part of video and then start implementing the same. But suppose if you want to follow the steps in the detail, I will cover that after I have done the short demo, right? So first of all, for the first step, that is we need to get the current user name. So basically there are different approaches for this. I have used a very simple one. Let me know in the comment box if you want to see all the or maybe different methods that are available to get the current logged in user in the TIBCO Spotfire. Now let's see how I have implemented this at the simplest way to do this. For that, what you can do is you can in information link we have an parameter called as current user and current group, which can be used to get the logged in user and the group that user belongs to, right? So we'll create a simple information link, right? So we'll go to the data information designer, right? And here if you see, I have already created an simple information link that says get current users, right? So basically the name can be anything, but then let's look at the script, right? So script is pretty straightforward. So what we'll do is select and we will say distinct current user as current user. Basically this is the keyword that you need to be sure. And then second, suppose if you want only the username, you can skip this part, but then if you want to have the group name as well, you can do something like percentage current group as current group from. So basically from table name can be anything, like you can use any table, right? Because we are not bringing the values from the table, we are just bringing the value which is Spotfire specific, right? So just in case, we don't forget to use the distinct keyword, because if you don't use the distinct keyword, it will repeat the number of rows basically for the same values, right? So this is how you create a simple information link. And once you save that information link anywhere, right, let's go ahead and then close it. So let's say we have loaded this data. So suppose this is the Spotfire dashboard where you want to whether show or hide the page. So let's say first page I want to show it, and second page I might want to hide it for some of the users, right? So right now I'm logged in as the as admin user. So my current username would be admin, and I'll define a rule that if the user is not admin, maybe I'll just want to hide these pages, or if the user is admin, I'll just keep both the pages visible, right? So for that, I'll just show you how I have done it. So maybe you can just go here and then look at the script, right? So basically in the script we have three parts, right? First we'll get the current user, and then second we'll create a rule to decide which all pages should be visible to a given user or which should be hidden, something like that. Rule will be defined. I have created a simple list. You can have any logic that you want to use, and then at the bottom we will try to hide the pages or show the pages, or maybe basically toggle the visibility of the pages depending upon the list of users that you have, right? So for example, in this case I have said that admin will have access to both the pages, and if he's not admin, he will have only access to the page which I want to show, and the other page will be hidden, right? I'll just run the script, right? So that's it. So now I'll just click okay, so I have created a button to run the script, but then obviously we'll see how to automate this process as well, right? So at this point, if you are familiar with how do you trigger an Ironpython script automatically, you can start working on your part of the code, right? Or else if you want to go into details, from this point onward we will start to build this dashboard from scratch. Okay, so first of all, let's see how do we build this from scratch, right? So first of all, I'll just open my Spotfire window, and here I'll log in as admin user. So once I logged in to my Spotfire, so first of all, you will have to create your report with all the pages, and you will implement the tab level security or page level security at the end, right? So let's say I'll use any of the sample dashboards. So let's say we'll go with analyzing stock performance. So in this dashboard we have 4 pages. So maybe what I would like to do is, I want these 2 pages or maybe these 3 pages to be visible to all the users, and the k-mean clustering page should be visible only to admin user or given set of users, whatever I want to do, right? So for that, first of all, we'll need to get the current user name in this report. So for that there are different approaches, and let me know in the comment box if you want to see all the different approaches. But yeah, we'll cover a very simple one in this example. So I'll just go to the data information designer, right? And here I'll say I want to create an information link. So as I said, I will be using the parameter current user and current groups. So it does not matter from which table do you create the information link. So for now, I'll just simply create an default information link from my venture box table. I can go with any data, like any table. So I'll just go here, right? And just say go to the person or maybe production, and just say any table is fine, right? I'll just use this one, create for information model, and I'll save it in my R&D, maybe current username. Okay, so in this folder I'll say okay, right? So I should have a product table there, and click OK. So now if I go here in the elements, if I go to my R&D and there get current user, I have my product table ready, right? So for what I'll do is, I'll remove this information link. I don't need the default information link, so that's, you don't have to remove that. But yeah, so I'll just use any of the columns from the product table, right? Just make sure that it is a string column. So I'll go here and add the string column. Now what I'll do is, I'll go in the backend, or maybe if you want to, so right now if you just want to have the username, you can use single column element. If you want to have username and group name both, we can go with the 2 different column names, right? It does not matter the column name, we can change it later, or maybe if you want to save this here itself, what you can do is, a simple approach would be like just click here and then save it as username. It doesn't matter, right? Because these are just the placeholders for our what do you say, username and group name, right? So maybe group names, right? So what I'll do is, I'll just go here, create the information link, and here I'll use these columns, right? So where do I saved it? Yeah, here they are, right? So I'll just add the username and the group name, and now what I'll do is, I'll go to the SQL and I'll alter this, right? So what I'll do is, I'll just change this parameter to as percentage and all caps current user, right? Current user. And I'll just go here, and here I will do something like current groups, right? So once that is done, remember that for user you will have just user, and for groups you will have groups with S, right? And now just remember that we need to have distinct values for this, so we'll just say distinct, okay, and we'll just click OK, and then save this one as the okay, I'll just replace the string one, right? So I'll just replace this one, right, and then save it. Yes, I want to replace this one, and once that is done, you can close it. Now what we do need to do is, we'll need to bring that table into our dashboards. Now for that, we will go on the data panel, or files and data fly out. In that we'll go to the Spotfire library, we'll navigate to our information link and load it into the report. So we'll load it as the new table, so just it's okay. And then what we'll do is, since we have this, let's take a look at the data, and we should get the username along with the group name, right? So this is the username and this is the group that user belongs to. So now what we'll do is, we'll go remove this page, we don't want this page anymore, and we'll start to write a script. Now to write the script, we'll go to file, document properties, and after that go to the scripts, and we'll create a new script, right? So just to make this real fast, we'll just copy the script, and if you want the script later, I will simply move that script to the video description, right? So I'll just go ahead and paste it here, right? Now I'll just name this script, maybe what we'll say is get user name, sorry, caps lock off, get user details and toggle visibility. That's it, off page, right? So off page. Give the scripts self-explanatory name, so that will be easier for you to maintain the code as well. Now let's have a look at what we are doing in the script. So in the script, what we are doing is, first of all, we'll import some basically library from that is from Spotfire itself, right? So now what we'll do is, we'll do 3 steps in the script. First of all, we'll read the current user, create a rule to decide which page should be visible to the end user depending upon the logged in user. So all the rules will go here, and you can always come up with your own logic to decide the page. So better, it will be easier if you can maintain them in the list, but then obviously it is up to you how do you want to write the logic for the visibility, right? And then based upon the logic, whatever you have done, we will decide where to show or hide the page, right? So in this, what we are doing is, we'll first of all get the current user. So basically we'll need to change the column name. So basically, let's say even if you come up, you're writing this code for the first time, the changes that you will have to make is, you'll have to give the table name of the table that we have used, right? So I'll just use the table name that we have used, and for that I'll just click OK for now, right? And then I'll come back here and see the table name here. So I'll go to the file, document property again, and the scripts, and then in this one I'll just go here and edit the script, right? So I'll just zoom it in here. So here is the place where you will change the column name. So I'll go here, and here I'll give the user name and group name, right? And my column name is username, right? Username, and my column name for the group name is group name, right? You can name the column as per your understanding or whatever you want. So now we'll have 2 cursors, right? So basically in Spotfire, you read the columns by creating a cursor on each column. So, and now I'm going to iterate over all the rows for these 2 columns, right? And then my username will be coming from the cursor 1, that is this column, this cursor, and my group name will be coming from the second cursor, right? So you don't need these brackets, but then yeah, we can remove them, not needed, but yeah. So that's it. And at the bottom we'll say that if my username is admin, I want to show these pages. So right now my pages will be different. So my pages will be something like, okay, I should have had the small names, right? So what I'll do is, I'll just use the name as it is, maybe just to avoid spelling mistakes. I'll note all the names in my notepad here, right? So basically there is first name and the second name and the third name, right, and the fourth name, right? So I'll just bring them into a single list, right? So I'll just create the list here itself. It will be easier for me to create the list. So basically what I'll say and then what we'll do is, we'll say here, and okay, here we'll say like this, and like this, and then we'll just keep on adding them as a list items, right? So it is up to you how do you want to come up with this logic, but then for me it is the easiest way. Maybe I'm doing it not so optimally, but then this is the way I did it, right? So I'll just copy this one, this list, and I'll say okay, this is the, I'll go back to my script and here, right? So I'll just go back here, zoom it in so that you can look at it, right? So for admin, all the pages will be visible, right? But then if the user is not admin, then what we will do is we'll just go back and remove the clustering page and the maybe sector and industry breakdown, right? So only 2 pages will be visible for the other users, right? So if I click OK and if I run the script for once, so maybe I'll just run the scripts now. Perfect, right? I'll say click OK and then done it, right? So right now, since I'm even though I'm an admin user, you see the page was not in the list, so that is not visible. Maybe I'll just look at it a viewing mode. So now you see those pages are not visible, right? I'll go back to the editing mode, and maybe what I'll do is I'll show you with the different logic. So maybe what I'll do is I'll just double click here and say this time I don't want to, I'll just reverse the page visibility for the admin and the other users. So basically if I run this one, now you see these 2 pages are also hidden, right? That is handled here. Now since we have the 2 parts ready, right? So what we have done is we have got the current username and we have written an Ironpython script to basically check the username and toggle the visibility of the pages. Now the next part would be to automate the running of the script, right? So for that, what we can do is we can go to the data and data function properties, and we can say that we need to register a new data function. So basically, those who do not know how it works, basically we'll have a data function that will automatically update our document property, and that document property will at the backend trigger the Ironpython script, right? So just follow the steps if you are new to the Spotfire or maybe trying it for the first time. So what you need to do is, I'll just do it again. So you need to go to the data function properties, and inside this you just register a new data function. Maybe you can use Python script or R script, whatever you're comfortable with. I'll just rename this as get sys date time, right? So I'll just go here and then I'll just write the code here. Could be something like from date time import date time, okay, and we'll say my time, or maybe time is equal to date time dot now, right? And then we'll say my output, or maybe we'll just output the name itself, right? So we'll just copy this parameter and we'll say we don't want any input parameter for this particular script. So what we'll do is we'll just use it as an output parameter. So we'll just have an output parameter time here, or we can have it any value, right? So that's fine, we'll have a single value and then click OK. And then what we'll do is we'll run this script for the first time. So once you save the script, the code is saved in your dashboard. So what I'll do is we'll map this output to a document property, and maybe we'll create a new document property and then we'll just call it as time, right? And then depending upon the time, we'll just click OK, right? And then that's it. So once you close this, it will prompt you to whether you want to save the save the data function into the library or not. For now we'll say no, but our data function is still in the dashboard, so we'll just click OK. Just remember that to make sure this data function runs automatically on the report load, you have to put the edit parameter and make sure that refresh function automatically, right? This is selected and click OK, and then I'll just select one more time and then click OK, right? So if you want to refresh this is fine, right? So this data function will run automatically and it will update the document property. In the backend, what we'll do is we'll just go close this one, we'll go to the file, document properties, and in the document properties we'll go to the properties and we'll say that on this one, whenever there's a change in this document property value, I want an script to be triggered. So basically we'll say trigger this script whenever the document property value change, and then once you click OK and OK, and that's it. Save it as a library item, right? So file, save as library item, and maybe I'll just save it here itself. We will save this with the same name and we'll do close, right? So once we save this, now since we have saved this dashboard in the library, let's check it out. So what we'll do is we'll go to the Spotfire again, and this time we will log in as a different user. So let's go with the test user and test and click OK. So we'll check for the same dashboard that we have done, right? So in this case, now you'll see that since it is a different user. So now you will see that since we have logged in with a test user, these two pages are not visible, right? So basically these are hidden. So if I go to the viewing mode, now you'll see only two pages are visible, right? And similarly, if I go to the dashboard with the admin user, and if I go it as the web view, in the web we will have only four pages visible to the admin user and only 2 pages visible to the general user, basically non-admin user. This is how you will implement the tab level security in TIBCO Spotfire. So in case you have any doubt or any query, feel free to ask in the comment section. I will try to answer them as soon as possible. Or maybe if you guys want me to make a video on a specific topic or a specific use case, let me know in the comment box. I'll try to make a video as soon as possible on your requirement as well. Thank you so much guys, and until the next time, bye bye.